Welcome. This is Jeff, Bernina Jeff at High Fashion Sewing. This month we're doing the FTCU Club, and we've got some new things and great things to show you. Normal format is please go into your Floriani Club, which is, it boots up when you start your FTCU software, and you're going to want to watch Trevor Conquergood's video on Spiral, and then you're also going to want to watch Trevor Conquergood's video on the shortcuts. So you want to log in, and to find those, you go to blogs and news, and you go to the very bottom. It's called Weekly Video Archive, and then scroll down, and there's the ones we're going to do first is you go ahead and watch keyboard shortcuts, and then please watch the Spiral. It's called Spiral Satin. So watch those two videos, and then I'm going to add in how to cut holes into your projects and items, and we're going to have a good time on learning some new items on FTCU today. So after you watch the shortcuts, Trevor shows you where the list of them are. If you want a organized list, I organize the list in a Word software, and I'll be glad to send it to you on an attached file. So if you want to contact me at J, P as in Peter, V as in Victor, LEFTY, that's like lefty, at AOL.com. I'll be glad to send you a copy of this file that is nicely organized in 2 columns on a front and back piece of paper, and put that in a sheet protector, and you have all the little shortcuts where you need them. So I'm going to go ahead and close down the club, and we're first going to work with a shape. So I took this little rocket and I did the spiral satin on it, and then I trimmed the little fins on it and filled it with fill. So first off, let's go into our shapes. So we're going to go up to this custom shapes. It looks like a green sort of flower, so we're going to left click on our custom shapes, and then scroll down and find rocket, and it's right in the middle, so left click on that, and you get your artwork. So here's your artwork of the rocket. Mine's in lavender. So it's artwork right now. So right now you can fill it with your spiral satin. And the spiral satin, it's blue with little black spirals on it. So it's about the 7th or 8th item from the left. So hover over it, and it says Spiral Satin. So left click, and it should automatically fill that into a spiral satin. Let me see if I can get rid of this fill. All right, what happened there? Oh, this is my tip. I forget to do this. It's waiting for us to give inclinations. This happens all the time for me on certain one of these fills. So you have to click on the one side and drag over to the other side, and it gives the software an inclination of which way you want those spirals to work. So you can do as minimum, at least one. You can do as many as you want on it. And then once you've got your inclinations, you right click, and now it's asking you, do you want to change your stop or start points?
I'm in custom shapes.
So I'm not going to change my stop, and I'm going to right click one more time, and there's my spirals.
The same puzzle.
So I'm going to pull it over. First off, we have to go back up and hit our select key up here. So anytime you not getting your desired effect with your cursor, make sure you have your proper tool selected. So you want to hit your select tool. And I wanted to move that spiral off of its artwork. So I'm going to put the artwork over here. So we're working on this, looking at what just the spiral looks like. So see, I did not trim off the fins or anything, so you may not like the effect of this spiral. So I'm going to go ahead and come back over to my artwork, and I'm going to trim off these fins right here, and I'm going to trim off the bottom and make just the body of the rocket to be our spiral designation, and then fill the other parts just with fill. So we have our artwork selected. Is everybody in class caught up? Good. So we're going to come over to this little knife, and it's object, and I'm going to come down. I want the knife with the little magnet attached, so it's called object slice. So see my cursor, it's got a little knife attached, so I'm going to click on the top of that fin and click on the bottom of the fin and right click. So now we can see that that fin has been trimmed away from that rocket body. And now I'm going to go select that tool again, and I'm going to hit to the top of that, and right click. I'm going to select my item again, and he's moved on me a little bit. I'm sure there's a way you can do it without having to right click each time. So there's my center rocket body. I want to get this little bottom part here trimmed off also. So I'm going to hit my tool, my knife. I'm going to left click, and then right click. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of that rocket. So everybody in class got that? Where are you stuck at?
Well,
Might help.
which knife are you
How to
using?
get that knife thing back? Mine's grayed out.
You have to select it again.
You have to select the original body again.
Select the original body again.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Hit select and put a box around it.
So it has to have a box around it before your knife will be active.
Okay.
So,
No,
we
mine's
go.
still grayed out.
so Marnie, try to go up to the red select arrow. Start
Yep,
there.
I've got a box around it, around the,
And you got a box around the main body of the rocket.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, just the main body.
Yeah, not the one you just did, the whole main body.
Select arrow. No, it's not doing it.
Okay.
What am I missing? Okay,
Did you get it?
well, maybe. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Just a little bit of trial and error to begin with. So now that I have these other 3 pieces selected out here on the bottom, I'm going to select the main body of the rocket,
Something's didn't work.
and then I'm coming down to my spiral satin again. It's waiting for inclination, so I'm going to draw one from the left, from there. So I want the spiral to go around. Then I right click, and I'm not going to worry about the start stop until I see where it's at. Then I'm going to right click again, and
See, I cut that off, but it didn't go off.
there's my spirals. I'm going to drag my start stop over to here, see if that helps anything. Oop, I don't like that. I want to do the start to the very tip, and now I won't have that walk line. And so there's a whole lot better. Maybe the start stop needs to be
It won't cut off.
right there. So I'm going to right click again.
Yeah, I'm having problems too.
Yeah, it won't take off my right fin at all.
Okay, I'm going to go over and help out the
Helpless.
The
gals in
helpless.
class.
Oh,
How we
now
doing?
it
You
did.
got it?
Okay, now it
Is this
did.
my start stop?
Why didn't it do it before?
Mine's kind of the same way. It's just
Okay.
gonna
Okay, that's my
it
start.
kind of
Okay,
finagles.
so now,
Do you select the whole thing or just the body of your rocket?
Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, you don't have anything cut off yet, so that's
Right.
what you want to select.
Okay.
Now come over here,
Okay,
And
now,
you want to get the knife with the magnet on it.
Got it.
Okay, and now go there,
Okay.
and then click down there, and then pull it over. Now you have to pull it over. You have to go off the blank area on your works, and you have to right click. Okay, and now you have to start all over. Now get the body of the rocket. Try not to move it, and then
Okay. I'll play.
you got it.
okay, so now this is the tool I use for the inclinations?
Yeah,
Okay, so then I do this.
it should have just been automatic. No,
Yeah,
you,
it
you
did.
didn't need to. You didn't need to change anything.
Okay, so,
All right. So where are you at?
well, I've got this, now I need, what's this?
So
This
did you go
plus-
down here and hit your spiral thing?
I hit this, the spiral satin.
Yeah, so hit that again. Okay, now you're automatically in inclination, so click on one side and drag it to the other.
There's no line,
Are you dragging?
yeah?
Okay,
Doesn't it make a line?
yeah, it should be a yellow line.
No,
Took me a while
I got
for
nothing.
Let me
a few
try.
clicks to get
Okay.
the yellow one.
You have to drag. I was saying
Oh.
drag, yeah.
Oh. Okay,
Okay,
and then,
that's right, click.
eeks.
So somewhere along the line we had funny inclinations.
Well, I wonder if,
No, that's not gonna do it.
okay,
So we need to back up some.
Okay, so now,
Oops.
undo. So now I do have to hit the inclination thing, right?
Well, I never touch these.
Okay.
It's just automatic. As soon as you touch this
See-
spiral guy, so I'm gonna
See,
hit the
they're
spiral
grayed out. They're grayed out.
because we're in the middle of it.
So we gotta put down our. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
PCA.
I don't know where you're at. You came in at an area where I wasn't ready.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
Okay, so that's a little better.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's see
and
what's
this
going
bottom is always going to be a little funny.
on. Okay.
All right, we're back. It's
Yeah.
always about experimenting a little bit.
Mhm.
So I've got the spiral kind of where I want it. You can fuss around with your start and stop. And then you can select, make sure you get your select tool. Then you select one of the fins and just hit a fill. I'm just going to do a standard fill. And then hit the other fin, another standard fill. And then the propulsion, another standard fill. So there you got a cute little rocket you can put on the front of a little boy's t-shirt or on the backpack or something like that.
Standard.
And it won't be a really, really heavy fill. It's going to just kind of be nice and comfortable on the front of a t-shirt or something like that. What we need to watch though is how big your project is. I really think the project needs to be at least 4 or 5 inches tall for the spiral to work right.
Mhm.
Because I did this spiral cross last night and he was only about 1 inch tall and I only got 1 or 2 spirals on each one of these. So it really, I increased him to be quite a bit larger. Let's hit Control A is one of our new shortcuts. If I hit Control A, that controls everything. I can look over here and I made him 9.77 inches tall to work with the spirals. So the larger you do your work with the spirals, I think it works better. And then you can shorten it, make it smaller. And your spirals all kind of, they change quite a bit. So I'm going to hit my magnifier twice and see by changing the size of your project how the spirals all changed. So it really makes a difference on the size you make it. So I'm going to bring this size back
That
up.
didn't work.
I made them really large. Oh, I went to,
Go back and get your beginning and ending.
he's 15 inches there, so I'm going to put him
I
back.
tried Control
Smaller
Shift
size.
A and nothing happened.
Double click your magnifier glass and you can get it to fit
So now
the
how
screen.
do you get your
Satin path. And then you go right here. Is this what you want?
But everybody get a rocket that's kind of
oh
Yes.
got some fins with some different things.
I
Yes.
have a question.
Uh-huh.
Once I apply the spiral and I right click or left click, whatever. How do I get my endpoints back so I can adjust them? My end and start. They seem to go away.
If you go back to the main body where we have it there,
Mm-hmm.
and I think if we just turn on that tool, oh, undo. I turned something on. I did the wrong one. Usually when you're still with that tool active
Right.
and you left click once, it applies the spiral, and then you're active with changing your start stop. So I'm going to go I think I have clicked on it too many times.
I was thinking
We-
maybe that's what I was doing.
We can
Go
edit
to-
our entry and stop, I believe, right there. There we go. So you can go up to the third red arrow down, and that will give you your start and stop points again, where you can grab the green one, make it a different place, grab the red one, make it a different place, and then right click off of it. It'll change your start and stop.
Okay, so you right click on
Did
Once
you get
you-
there, Linda?
Yes.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, can you increase the density of the rocket spirals?
Well, I haven't tried.
It says spiral density in your properties and it's
Yeah.
5.0, so you wanna make it smaller. If you want it really dense, go to 0.4,
So I'm gonna go to 2.0
Yeah.
on this density and hit apply.
yeah.
And look at it, it's really changed it.
Yeah.
So if you highlight your spiral area,
Oh, yes.
you can change the
Yeah.
density of it.
I went to
And that really
2.5, I
cleans
like
up some of that goofy stuff toward
Yeah.
the bottom.
it. Yeah.
So earlier when I was saying about that cross and making it too small, if I would have changed my spiral density to something besides 5 millimeters, it would have cleaned that up a lot. And that would make sense when you're doing lettering. So if you pick the lettering, and if you're 5 millimeters apart on a small little lettering, it's not going to spiral very much. But if you're 2 millimeters apart, it's going to look great. So that makes a lot of sense. That's a good question.
It keeps it a lot higher than I thought.
So if I wanted to take this guy here and bring him down to 2.5 millimeters and hit apply, now it doesn't look so bad down by the fins because it's a lot smaller spiral.
I think it'll look great if you take the fins off like you did in the middle one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's just apply that one to 3. So I've got 2, 2.5, and 3. So it just gives you options to do with a new type of fill.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to pass around, hopefully I don't hit the legs of the recorder. So here's the next one we're going to do. We're going to do an apple, and we're going to cut off the leaves on top, do a different fill on the leaves, and do a spiral on the apple. And I'm going to leave it up to you which way you want the spirals on this apple. So get a new piece of workspace, so hit that blue piece of paper where it says new. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a spiraled apple. So if we go up to our custom shapes again, and let's do apple 002, please. And it comes in as filled artwork. Let's go ahead and turn the fill off and hit apply. So all you have is just outline. It'll help us in the future, trust me.
Do we change the size?
How do I do?
I
What
know,
did
I
we
just
do?
already forgot how to do that. Just slide it over. Click on,
Like
What are we doing?
4 or
we're making an outline.
Yeah, how
So
do I make
just
an
Take
outline?
fill out.
Okay, you just,
And check fill.
make it to
Oh, and
4.
click it.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
all right.
Enter.
Yeah, you have to deselect fill. So if fill box is clicked, it will fill in a color. Deselect the fill box and hit apply and you got an outline. Okay? So now we have artwork. Let's go over to our knife with the magnet attached. And we're gonna cut off the stem right from the apple. And right click. Oops. I messed up.
Oh, that didn't work.
I have to click and then right click. There we go.
So what happened?
It's not like inclination. You have to click once, click twice, and then
Oh, you click.
right click off of it. So I want to see the apple with a little line
Click,
between the apple and the
click off.
leaves. Do we got it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yay.
So now let's select the bottom part of the apple, or just the main body of the apple. And we're gonna come down to our spiral satin. And I'm gonna do it opposite. First time I went from top to bottom on the apple, I'm gonna go from left to right. So you can do it any way you want. It's your apple. So I'm taking those inclinations, clicking and dragging to the other side. And then I bring my cursor off to the workspace and I right click once. And now it's letting me play with the start and stop. So I don't know if start and stop's gonna look better there or there, so I'm just gonna move my start and stop a little bit and then right click. And I get one part of the apple that doesn't fill my, by going horizontal. So the software is trying to find the other side with its inclination. Maybe if I change my inclinations a little bit
Ah! Undo.
and right click, it tried to find it. So anytime there's a little bump coming across, it seems to miss the spiral a little bit.
Oh, I lost the bottom part of my apple.
So when I
It's
did my
gone.
very first apple, I was going from top to bottom and the spirals filled really nice. So I'm going to change my inclinations to top to bottom. And see if that fixes my spirals. So I'm going to right click there. Yeah, so now I've got my spirals more.
I lost the bottom part of my apple. I had to start over.
Now I'm going to change my start stop to the side of the apple and right click off of it, and it's changed all. I still have a little walk over here, so I might have to play around with that a little bit. So that's looking a lot better.
Interesting.
So now, if you try a spiral up in your leaves and such of the apple, it's not going to look very well. So I'm going to select those. I have to go up and hit my select arrow. I'm going to select the leaves of my apple so they're boxed up. And I'm just going to put a fancy fill in there. And hit so now you've got a nice different fill. I'm going to make that a green so it looks like leaves. Oops, I have to select it. I have to tell the software what I'm trying to do.
No.
And I want to look to see what it looks like in 3D.
What is this?
See what we got going.
Doing this. Why is this doing this?
Cool. You got yours to fill nice on an angle. That looks great.
Almost up and down.
Playing with the inclinations.
No, we're not. This keeps doing this.
Okay.
I don't know what I've
So
done.
you want to be on.
This, right? View inclinations.
What does that one say?
That one says view split lines. And this one says view
See, I never
entry and
touched that.
exit.
I
I didn't either.
Yeah.
But when I do
Yeah.
this,
So let's. Yeah, that's not going to be right. So undo that. So let's undo. Keep undoing. Keep undoing. I want you to get started over. Okay.
okay.
Okay. So let's select the apple. not the whole thing.
See, I don't have it
Just
in parts,
hit on the line.
but it's got the whole apple.
All right, so we need to break that apart. So right click. And
Break it apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
so
just-
now we should just have an apple.
There we
Okay,
go.
there we go.
All right.
Now, go down and hit this, right? Spiral
Correct.
Satin.
Correct.
Then come up here.
Click and drag. Okay, now click and drag again. I don't know why yours isn't showing up, but it's,
It's just being weird. Okay.
okay, now bring your cursor over to here, right click. Yeah, yours is not functioning right. I just right clicked again,
No.
just needed to click again.
Okay. So
All right.
now the start and stops, you move those
Yep,
or
you
leave
can
them?
move them a little bit. Does it
Okay.
turn red when you get over there on by the start and stop? Yeah, turn red or green. Now you can play with your start and stop.
Okay.
How'd we do? I like that
Isn't that
effect.
fun?
How did you do that?
See, I changed the direction.
The inclination, that's
Yeah,
really
I
cool.
went like that, yeah.
That made a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Wow, we got an overachiever in class.
Oh, wow.
and then I'm gonna take it down to 3.2.
What did you do for your inclination?
Put them like this.
You did two inclinations
Yeah.
on it.
That's awesome.
All right, sorry if you can't hear so much, but I was going around to the other people in class and helping them out. We had one gal that really made some cool inclinations.
And we can change that now?
And I changed the density to 2.4.
I went over to the apple and selected it, and then I went over to my shape tool, and she took her inclinations and did them kind of
Yeah.
out, brought them out
Yeah.
like this,
Uh-huh.
and then hit apply,
Mhm.
and then make this maybe a 4,
I did it 2.4.
2.5. So here you go, you got a whole different look. You got a whole bunch more spirals. It all depends upon how big the apple is when you start.
Right.
How did you get two different inclinations going?
I've got two, but I can't change
I can't
them.
get back to inclinations.
All right, so select the area. Here comes the
Okay.
so
Select the area.
and then come over here to your
Shape,
third one down and select it.
select
Oh.
it.
And remember, yours wasn't really showing these
See?
inclinations.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay, so right
Do you have
click.
little dots somewhere like that?
I have,
Just
I
right
have
click and it should
dots.
say add inclinations.
So find where the little arrow turns to a single black dot.
Okay, so it
Didn't
doesn't
do
make
it.
me-
Single
didn't do
black
it?
dot, I don't have
Yeah.
any of those.
Okay.
Well, you have to hover over it.
Yeah, I don't have any of those.
Yeah, your computer wasn't really
Did you
functioning exactly
try
the
and see
same
if
as
you can get
everybody's.
Down now.
Of course.
No.
I have
do it.
blue ones.
Oh yeah, it is. It's yellow.
So,
Okay.
so you,
So take this one
Sorry.
here
Yeah,
and
that's
this
not
one
gonna
there.
work.
So
Can't
you've got this
figure where
happening.
yours is.
You
oh,
got two.
okay,
Being
so
wonky?
just
See it?
It's over here,
So I'm gonna
Yeah,
apply
and
that to
go
3.5.
about halfway
halfway.
and bring this one down.
and this
Again,
down.
that'd be pretty cool on a
I can't figure it out.
towel or something.
And then this one.
Okay. Highlight.
and
Highlight. This one.
So if I wanted to change this apple, when I click on the main body of the apple and the the third tool down is activated, it gives me my inclinations with a yellow line and my start and my stop.
Just hit and
And
drag it.
one of our gals,
There you go.
that line's not showing up.
Okay, so now what you need to do is closer here and further apart at the bottom. Yeah. Yeah, that works.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, mine's not working. Mine's not working for some reason.
All right. So
Okay, highlight this,
I did.
go to the third one down.
something new, spiral
Wait.
satin,
See, it's not working.
Wait a
and
minute, wait,
I played with it with
you hit it,
other shapes. I took this cross.
you just didn't hit it. Oh,
And-
wait. All right, do it the other
What I did on the cross is I cut
Go to here.
the two sides off right here, the two left and right sides, and left the center as one item,
Now see,
and it
that's
turned
got
out
the green
really
thing
cool.
over it. You need to
And
get
then
rid of
change the density of the spiral depending upon the size of your
You need
project.
it. You need to go to the thing below it
So what,
and go back to the, something's undo.
so here's the cross, it's
Oh,
001.
it's the touch screen, I forgot. You can get rid of that.
Okay, let's try this.
You may need to undo, cause I fussed with it too much.
Do you see what says add inclinations?
So I wanna make this cross bigger to work
Now,
with it,
if
so
you
what I
go
did is I
to
grabbed the
this one,
magnifier
If
glass
you go to the little arrow down below and go to the first one,
it will let me
it says, I think it says, or the
move it just a little bit
if you hover over it, it's supposed to tell you what it is.
and get it centered. Whoops.
Add inclinations.
Okay, so I'm gonna deselect fill and hit apply. So that's what my cross looks like.
It's not
So
staying.
I'm gonna come up here and get my knife tool again,
May need to. start
and I'm
over.
going to
Sorry.
click and click and right click off of it. And I'm gonna select the other part of it. See, you have to keep reselecting so the software knows what you're gonna trim.
Okay, so,
And I'm gonna
I just started.
click and right click off of it. So I've got the center part for my spirals and I got the right and left part for my spirals.
with the magnet.
So I'm gonna select the center part and I'm gonna add my spirals. I'm gonna give it inclinations here and here,
Hit this.
right click, and then
Right?
right click again.
There.
I may need to change the size of my spirals to 2.5 and hit apply,
Right, now smile.
and it's
Hit it
a whole
again.
lot
You should
nicer.
hit a smile.
I'm gonna change
should-
my start
Go
stop
ahead and you can change the
there,
size, 2.5.
and the start there, and hit my right click.
Oops.
Oh yeah, much better.
Can't see with these damn glasses.
Now I'm gonna do the left side.
Why is it doing
Line.
that?
First I have to get my select,
It's not
there's my
too-
left side selected, spiral again, inclinations here and here, right click,
It won't do it.
right click. And that's kind of a mess,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna make it 3.0 and hit apply. And I've got some start stop issues, so let's see what happens.
Just alter your-
There
Okay, so how do I do that?
So just
and
drag
there.
the top, I drag the bottom so it's further
So
away
you
from.
can play around with your start stop and make
So
it look a
the
lot better.
ending's here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit
Just
my
drag-
select
No,
arrow,
Oh,
do
this,
the
the
other side,
inclinations?
Yes, drag to the left.
and we're gonna do the spiral
Come
satin.
and do the other one the same, to the right,
I'm gonna give it an inclination,
right click.
No. Oh, okay.
right click off, now I got
And
my
the
start stop I
the
can play
stop's
with,
Okay,
Ooh, that looks
right click
good.
again,
okay. Then we do the top part.
make it
And
3.0,
Change it to the,
What did he do?
and apply,
He did a fill, just a fill.
looks a lot better
Okay,
now.
thank you.
So with this, start and stop, your size of your spiral and stuff has a lot to do with how it's gonna turn out. So any shape you can play with there.
yeah.
So it doesn't just have to be long and slender, like I said, we did the apple, looked kinda cool. And you can have many, many different inclinations and it can make a lot of difference on what it looks like. So if anybody remembers last month, I was having troubles cutting holes. So I've been having a lot of fun learn how to cut holes.
Oh, that's right, we were doing that.
Remember, I would cut the holes and then whenever I went to save it, they'd fill back in because I was using remove underlaps. Well, that wasn't the route to go.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a quick little demo on how to cut a hole. So we're gonna go in and do brain surgery on this little guy. So we're gonna cut a hole into his forehead. So I'm gonna select an item. So we've got a box around this item. And to cut a hole, you have to find a tool And the tool is in this shape tool. I hope. So if I come to the shape tool and hit the little, there's a green box with a circle cut out into it. So that's the add a hole tool. Hardest part of figuring out how to cut a hole is finding the tool.
Okay.
So my tool is attached here, but now we have to play with digitizing. We have to digitize the points where you want that hole cut. Because the software can't figure out where the hole's cut if it doesn't know where you want it.
Okay.
So I'm going to first do a square hole and then show you how to do a curved hole. So I'm going to left click once, left click where I want the next one, left click again, left click here, and now I want to close up that shape. Remember on our new shortcuts, to close a
Shift
shape,
C.
I'm going to hit shift down, hold it down and hit C,
And it closed.
and it closed the shape. Now I'm going to left click off of my item, and voila, I have a place I can do surgery now, brain surgery on this guy. And that's a permanent hole. It's not going to change when I save it. It knows that that's the hole I wanted.
Okay.
I don't see that tool.
I know, it's hard to find the
shapes
tool.
tool.
So here's how we find that tool. You come up here.
Okay,
I'm gonna come up to my normal
Got it.
yeah.
my normal here. So you've got to select an item. So do you have a box somewhere on your screen?
And in this case, it is a filled,
It has to be a filled item.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a filled item on your screen, do you have a new screen going there, Sue Ellen?
Well, I can just pop up on my leaves that are filled.
Okay,
Okay,
so you got one of those.
yeah.
And it's got a square. Now come over to this
one down.
third one down,
Which is the shape tool.
shape
The
tool,
arrow
and there's a little baby arrow down on the bottom half
Yeah,
of it.
then show it.
Go clear over to the right.
You've got three things that don't come out on mine.
Did you hit the little
So
arrow?
something's not
The
selected.
little
something-
down,
You don't have something selected
Okay.
then.
No, it's selected.
it's selected.
But is it filled?
Yeah, it's
It had
filled.
It was filled. On the
Okay.
back.
Now that you-
I don't know what that thing, I don't know what that wavy line
Okay.
is up here, up there.
All right, so let's just start over.
Is
Let's
it
get
filled?
a
Well,
let's get a
No.
new piece of
You need to
paper.
put stitches in is what he needs.
Oh, that's
Just
what it
put,
means.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
So hit
Now,
this, now go to there.
Okay, now go up to your custom shapes
Now, click, drag,
and just grab the first apple
click, drag, click, click.
Okay.
and just
And
fill them real
control-
quick, just with the standard fill.
Control C,
shift C.
Shift C,
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
so it's selected. Now go to that third one down.
uh-huh.
Now you
Now
got
I
a
got
hole.
it, now I have it, yeah.
Well,
All right.
I clicked
Try
right.
it. Okay, was it right click? Okay. Click, 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 control C,
You got her going there,
right click.
playing a little bit.
Yes.
So once you got that hole selected,
What happened?
now you have your points, and you actually could grab those points. Not with this tool though.
Right click.
We could go to this here where we have a stitch points. Nope.
Have to move it off.
Yeah. You okay?
We'll see.
Okay, let's try it again.
Okay, I got my selected guy there. I'm gonna go to this tool.
Yes.
Now I've got my points. Now I can make this any shape I want. And if I got it the way I want now, and then I bring it over here and right click, and now I've rechanged the shape of that hole.
That's it.
Okay, so, okay.
And if you hold down your control key as you're doing that, you can make them curve.
Okay,
Right click outside of there, over here somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, mine didn't.
ah, there it
Okay.
is. See, it's afraid of you.
I think you have to do the curve. You have to do the curve when it was initialized.
Yeah, when he first made the hole. Let's try it that way. Let's try it.
So now I'm going to do a curved fold. I've got this selected, I'm coming down to the bottom, and I'm doing my my hole cutting. And I'm gonna do one click to get started. I'm gonna hold down my shift, my control key, or is it shift?
Shift.
I'm gonna hold down my shift key. No, it's,
Oh,
it's
it
control.
did, it worked.
Control.
Control, and when you're making your
Shift C
points
to close
make
it up.
curved,
And then
it's like a hole. There you go. Okay.
and then it brings you right back to the tool where you can kind of play around with
Yeah.
how you want to have that look. And then when you right click off of it, it'll show you. And I went in and saved this as a PES and brought it back in, so those are true. They do save properly.
Perfect.
Because last month we were trying to save it and stitch it, and so it's kind of cool because you can actually see the crossbones behind his eyes here.
Yeah.
So played with that cut tool, and I've got some. Has everybody got the concept now a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got stitching over stitching there with crossbones being
Right.
covered by the skull, and it's only cutting out the first layer.
Right. Because you only
Pretty cool.
selected the one layer to cut out.
Yeah.
You can't select 2 layers at a time to do
Right.
cuts. It has to be 1 layer.
So now could you go back through the eyes and cut out the crossbones behind the eyes and that little part of the nose
Yep, you could.
By clicking on the bones.
by
Yeah.
clicking on the green part?
Yeah.
So if you clicked on the bones, so that's selected. It even kind of gives you an outline now.
Okay.
So I've got my hole selected here, so I'm going to hit, let's see, I want to select here, select there. Now, oops. Oh, I got the wrong thing. I was hitting the wrong one to hit curves. But I'm going to hit Shift C to close it up and click over here. So if I was careful, I could have got it exactly where I wanted.
Okay.
Perfect.
And if I select this guy,
You can move that.
Yeah.
you can move it around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to do it in 2 steps to trim it out.
Okay.
Okay.
Because the software can only trim 1 layer at a time.
One layer.
Great to know.
Now, what I did too is, I told it to remove overlaps.
Mm-hmm.
So I selected the bones and the skull, and it removed the overlaps at one time. Maybe I changed it. I might have backed it up too many times. But if I select 2 items, so if I select the skull and then I hit Control and hit the bones,
Mm-hmm.
now I can right click and say remove overlaps. Tells me at 0.5 I leave it there. And now
Thinking.
the bones and the skull won't have 2 layers of stitching to play with.
Oh, okay. Where the skull is on top of the bones.
Yeah, I got this guy all messed up.
Oops.
Whoa.
Yep. Something I selected somewhere.
I don't think you need to select the bones. I think you only need to select the skull,
Let's try that.
the top one.
It's always good to learn from your mistakes.
Absolutely.
See if that works out. Because it didn't have any place to look for overlaps.
Yeah.
I selected them both. Oh,
Oh,
No, it
didn't
still
do
took
either,
them
so-
away. That's weird.
anyway, it worked last time.
Okay.
So you see this little artwork I got going over here on the other side? I did that with cutting shapes. So we're going to play around with something I really had fun with this morning. Is all this is done right here with this snowflake looking thing with this one shape right here and cutting a hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close some of these guys up so my computer doesn't run so slow. And I'm going to show you how I made that. Just keeping them closed. I'm just closing these guys. The more I have open, the slower my computer runs. All right. So you see this cool little wreath design? I made another one over here, and it's basically done with a stop sign shape, and then I go to the wreath tool or the circle template tool and repeat it. So let's show you how we're going to do this. So I'm going to open up a new workspace.
Okay.
We're going to go up to our Shapes tool. This is a pencil with a blue circle and a orange box. I'm going to left click on there, and I'm going to get this hexagon. I'm going to left click on that, and I'm going to drag and make a shape kind of proportional here. Everybody got the shape? Okay.
I thought I had it.
Proportional.
Yeah, it could be oblong a little bit because it's
Well, you could go to transform and make it.
make whatever size you
Yeah.
want. But it doesn't matter because it's going to turn out cool. Everybody, this is like a snowflake. Everybody's going to be a little bit different.
Great.
Okay. So now let's go up to our red arrow, select key, and now we've got a box around it.
Okay.
Now let's go down to our purple star. Just put a standard fill in it because we have to have a fill to cut a hole, right?
Okay.
So we're going to make a hole in the middle that's the same basic shape as the outside. So we're going to go to our tool, add a hole, and what I'm doing is I'm left clicking here and over, just follow the perimeter, leaving about a 1/4 inch or so. So we're basically making a frame. And then before you get to the end, we're going to use our new shortcut, which is Shift C to close it. And then you bring your cursor outside there and right click. So has everybody got basically a cool little unit there?
Yes.
Not yet.
I
And what-
messed up.
I'm not even worried about
Yes, I know.
inclinations or anything here, okay?
Okay.
And
Okay.
once you've got this on your screen, go up and pick your select tool, so you just have it
Okay.
boxed.
Okay.
Okay, you there, Linda?
Yes.
Okay, we're good.
I think.
We think.
Well, no. I thought I was. Okay.
All right. And something looks funny here. All right. So
Yeah.
something looks funny.
I hear
Must be a
Bernie
really,
Brothers
really small
are
design.
pretty good.
Or really,
Oh,
yeah, it's a really, really
As
small
long as they
design.
are really
Hit
good, they
transform.
treat George like a king.
Your transform's way over
He's,
here.
Ugly had some stuff done there from his.
And make it
Big Jeep.
4 inches by 4
Yeah.
inches.
Well, let's see,
No.
we've had one,
Back up.
2, 3, 4 trucks done from them. Now the big truck's getting worked on. They replaced the transmission.
Well, you're gonna
cable.
you have to hit
I think it's a
unmaintained.
transmission
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
it keeps burping stuff out
Hit
of
apply.
into the overflow. They
And
think
then
it's a
don't click your
bubble that
magnifier.
is stuck.
Okay, now cut your
You
hole in
have
the
to
middle of
take
that.
it apart and
Good.
figure out why it's
Where's
doing that.
I lost my train.
It shouldn't be doing that.
Okay, you're in the right place, so we're going to now, Linda's gonna have hers in a second. Raise your hand when you're ready.
Oh my goodness, it's only 2 inches.
So, yeah, if it's 2 inches, 4 inches,
Mine's not
doesn't really
two.
matter. But it needs to be bigger than 0.8, we figured out. All right, and if you want to, I want to make mine a little wonky. So I made them right there. And I'm going to select my artwork, which is behind here, or you can go down to your select. I'm going to select my artwork and delete it. So I'm going to right click and delete. So I'm just deleting my artwork.
Okay.
So
You
we've
can
got
do
our
this by
outline.
dragging your fill off your artwork,
Oh.
select your artwork and delete it.
Okay, mine's gone, so.
Yeah, mine's gone.
Good. All right, so
My
we,
artwork is, when I move my artwork over, my hexagon doesn't have a hole in the middle. My artwork has the hole in the middle.
When I moved my phone,
well,
there was nothing there.
there's something not right there.
Okay, maybe I've got
When you
the
move
wrong
your
thing
field
now.
over
When
This is,
when I moved
this
this
my-
over,
is this
there's
my
nothing
artwork
behind
here?
it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Okay.
okay, that's what I had
I
wrong.
thought maybe
So
I
you wanna
done something
delete that?
wrong
Yeah.
again.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna take our border and now go up into your tools across the top and find the circle with a bunch of little dots around it.
Circle template.
It's called Circle Template. And it'll kind of give you a preview of what your little design's going to look like. Now, if you hit the count and keep clicking on count, and you keep clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking,
Well,
I'm up to 17. Look at the design I made. And
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
I may want to make it smaller. So I'm bringing it in to where that center circle,
Cool.
and now that I made it smaller, I may not want 17 of those, so I'm backing that off. And then you can change the angle, play with the angle on them a little bit. Oh, I like that. It looks like a medallion now.
Uh-huh.
And now you can hold down the scale a little bit and see what the scale makes any difference. So it's all a matter of how you hold down and play with these little tools. And you can change with a slant a little bit. Ooh, I like that. And then hit apply. And then okay. And now your single little guy, you just made a totally unique design.
Oh, no, there, okay.
So I got it selected, and I went to, these are all little things, I went to my little palette here, select color chart, and I moved up to Floriani variegated and mixed. And I know I have some people that like purple, so I hit purple, purple and white, you can hit the pinks. So you have to have it selected because the software doesn't know what it's trying to do. So you can just play with some of these colors. And then hit 3D and see what it looks like.
Oh, wow.
You like
So,
that?
you know, that's a totally unique. It's like a snowflake. Because if you change your size by 2 millimeters compared to your size, it's going to
Change,
make a
yeah.
totally different snowflake. It's like cutting out the papers. Remember we folded those papers and
Yes.
cut them out?
Mhm.
So this is the fun I had when I was playing around with it this morning and seeing the shapes. And you know, if you go more shapes or less shapes, it's all a matter of, it's kind of a spirograph effect. However much you want to put in there. And then putting the variegated thread in it kind of like double dips the effect.
Oh, wow. Yeah, cool.
How did you find the variegated thread?
Well, that was,
Go under
oh
your
look at red, white, and blue. That'd be
select
perfect for,
thread chart, which is at the bottom.
it looks
Yeah.
like black and white little boxes.
Go to
It's underneath
Floriani
design.
Old and go down to the third
How
one.
do I
Yeah.
change the
Got it?
color of thread? For some reason it doesn't tell me.
You find it,
So select it.
Sue Ellen?
Doesn't
Oh,
like
Wait
it.
a minute,
It
I
doesn't
gotta
like
get to where
it
it lets
till
me
I
get to my
select it.
thread
Ah,
chart.
okay.
At the bottom left.
I see that.
Now when it's dark blue.
I was still in
Okay.
something,
Oh,
that's why I was
okay.
going bling bling, it wouldn't let me
Okay.
go there.
Okay.
Okay, let me see.
Oh, yours is really cool.
Thank you.
There.
That was an accident.
I know, it's, you know, once you got a good accident, you want to save those. That'd be a really cool coaster for 4th of July, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Like it said, vote now.
I like that one.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
I said,
look at that,
everyone.
look at that,
Whoa,
hey, look at that,
That's really
red, white, and blue.
cute. I bet you couldn't
Oh,
do that
wow.
again. I couldn't.
I didn't know, because I don't know what I did.
That'd be a cool
Cool.
thing to put in the middle
I
of
think
it.
I'll
No, that'd be really
find
Pretty
dense.
good.
save as.
Like a quilt block.
Yep.
So it's really cool to see what this software can generate. Now, if you don't like perfectly round, you can use your other tools and apply it, make it.
Because mine's
Wonky.
not perfectly round, it's just a little bit off. I saved it.
Good.
I'll never know when I'll look at it. What in the heck is that? Good.
So this is probably gonna really tax my, you can keep double dipping though. Now that you've built this, you can go back to your circle tool and circle what you just built too. Look at this.
Ooh.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So I just took what I just built and went to the circle tool one more time. And like I said, it's working every bit of my computer resources to make that work, because it's a lot of effort to do that. And it may crash on me. But that basically is what I'm showing everybody in class today. So thanks for showing up on my YouTube channel. Always remember to subscribe to Bernina Jeff, just a little subscribe button. Watch my videos. If you're a Bernina or a Baby Lock, or I've got videos that pertain to about anything sewing. And check out my website at www.hifashion, that's spelled HIFashionGJ.com. And thanks.